Hello friends, welcome to CEC online lectures. So in the previous lecture we learnt about job analysis, a process of gathering information related to a job and how what are the various sources of collecting that information and how that information collected through various sources can be used in making some documents known as job specification and job descriptions. And these processes help in the recruitment. They help in identifying that what skills are required in the people we want to hire. So, as you know, that job analysis provides information about the skills and competency required to perform a job efficiently. Creating a job design is the succeeding step to job analysis. So, after job analysis is done, the next step is creating a job design. Conversely, job design strives at organizing tasks, duties, and responsibilities associated with a job to achieve organizational as well as individual objectives. So, the HR managers have now realized that the design of a job has significant impact on employee productivity and satisfaction. Whereas poorly designed jobs, they result in boredom, increased employee turnover, job dissatisfaction among employees, lower productivity, and all these will definitely cost an organization. So there is an increase in the overall cost of operations. Thus, job design is an attempt to create a match between job requirements and available human resource attributes. Excessive specialization in some organizations and in some jobs and mechanization have made many jobs not only monotonous, but employees performing such repetitive jobs, they generally tend to tire and fatigue easily. So the jobs should be designed in such a way that it motivates employees to execute it in the best possible manner. Therefore, it is very important to design jobs properly to increase employee motivation and performance. So, friends, what we are going to learn today is the concept of job design. We'll also learn one framework of job design. Then, what is the importance of designing a job, the objectives of job design, and very important is that what is the difference between job analysis and job design. So, we have already learned about job analysis and job design, we are going to learn today, but we also need to understand that what is the difference between these two concepts. So let's begin our journey of job design. So as far as the meaning of job design is concerned, job design is the logical sequence of job analysis process. It involves a conscious efforts to organize tasks, duties, and responsibilities into a unit of work to attain the business objectives. So it attempts to integrate work content like those of tasks, functions, the relationships with that of skill requirements applicable for each job that meets the needs of the employees and also the organization as a whole. So we are not only limiting ourselves to the needs of the employees, but as well as the needs of the organization in a more holistic manner. So it encompasses a specification of tasks that are to be performed by employees in an organization and includes any anticipated interpersonal and task relationships. Now, according to Michael Armstrong, job design may be defined as a process of deciding on the contents of a job in terms of its duties and responsibilities. And apart from duties and responsibilities, what job design must include is on the methods to be used in carrying out a job. So, what are methods you are going to use while you are performing your job in terms of the techniques you are using, the systems, the procedures that you will be using while performing that job, and also very importantly, on the relationships that should exist between the job holder and his superior subordinates and colleagues. So that is very important aspect of a job design. Apart from the mechanical aspects of how to design a job, the duties and responsibilities involved, the methods of carrying out that particular job, techniques, systems, procedures, it also emphasizing on what kind of a relationship has to be there between the superior subordinate and among the peers or the colleagues. Now, why is job design important? Well, a job design allows you to stay relevant and create jobs that fulfill organizational as well as the employee needs. So as we learned earlier also, that it is not only limited to the employee needs but also the organizational needs. And today, this is one term that you must have read in newspapers or some articles, that today organizations are operating in a VUCA environment. VUCA means a volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. So this is one acronym very often used in terms of the situations or the environment in which the organizations are operating today. So in today's VUCA world, the content of jobs is changing rapidly. So due to globalization, technological advancements, and new types of organization, e-commerce, and other gig economy coming into the fore. So all these aspects are changing the kinds of jobs. So jobs are no longer stagnant. The VUCA environment has made jobs highly dynamic. So there is a great need to continuously design and redesign jobs. So that is why job designing is very important. And successful job design aligns both the company and the employee values and needs, leading to lower turnover, lower absenteeism, and higher productivity. So, when there is an alignment of the employee values and the organizational values, definitely it leads to lesser absenteeism, lesser turnover, and higher productivity. Also, well designed roles and responsibilities are a source of motivation for employees. Now, how job design works. So, what is the framework of job design? So, to properly redesign jobs, we need a framework to guide this redesign process. And the best known framework is that of Hackman and Oldham's job characteristics theory. They proposed that each job should have 5 core job characteristics to be motivating for an individual. And these characteristics remained consistent over time and are still used today. So these are the job characteristics: the skill variety, task identity, task significance, autonomy, and feedback. And these core job characteristics will lead to psychological states of more meaningfulness, responsibility, and knowledge of results. And when an employee feels these psychological states or feels that he is responsible for a particular job, he is performing a meaningful job, having the knowledge of the results through his feedback, of course, this will further result in better motivation, better performance, greater satisfaction, and reduced absenteeism and turnover. So you can see that by designing a job with skill variety, task identity, task significance, autonomy, and feedback, how you can motivate your employees and how you can reduce their absenteeism and turnover. So this is a very useful framework or a job characteristic model, we can say. So let's briefly learn about all these core job characteristics one by one, because that is what is job designing all about. So skill variety. It is the degree to which a job requires a broad array of skills. An auditor, for example, if he is managing three different departments, he will definitely have more skill variety than auditing one specific department only. So, jobs with greater skill variety are more challenging and they require more competence. The next core competence is the task identity. It is the degree to which an individual performs the entire piece of work. So instead of breaking an entire work into small parts and assigning different people to perform those different parts, it's always better to assign one individual to perform the entire piece of work. For example, designing a full house interior is more rewarding than designing a single room. So, if you are hiring some interior designers and you assign different rooms to different people, that will not be much rewarding as compared to one individual designing the entire house. So that is how task identity is important characteristic of a job. The next is task significance. It is the degree to which work impacts others. So, when work impacts others, the task feels more meaningful, leading to a higher satisfaction. So, when I am, for example, teaching my students and I feel that my teaching is impacting my students, my job is impacting the lives of my students, so that is how I feel more valued and I feel more satisfied because I can attach meaning to what I am doing. So the greater the impact your job has on others, the greater you will feel satisfied. The next is autonomy. This is again a very important aspect of job designing because the level of independence and freedom an individual has while performing a job is referred to as autonomy, and higher the levels of autonomy, the greater will be the responsibility that an employee feels for their work. So if I am free and I have autonomy to take decisions and do my job in my way, so that will make me more responsible for my work and I will definitely enjoy doing my work. The next very important core, we can say, characteristic of a good job is feedback. So, feedback, we all need feedbacks, and it is the information that workers receive about the effectiveness of their work. Now, feedback can come from the work itself. For example, if I am manufacturing something and if that product is functioning properly, so that is an automatic feedback that okay, what I was doing has been done in a proper manner. And the second source of feedback is from the external sources like customer satisfaction. So customers are the external source of feedback. So feedback from work itself, it provides the most satisfaction and it leads to knowledge of results of work activities. So when you get feedback, you get the knowledge of the results of what you have been doing all day. So getting a feedback is very important. When you do not get a feedback, right, so that means you are not aware of your shortcomings, you are not aware of whether you have achieved what you wanted to achieve or not. So getting a feedback is very important, and when we have certain jobs in which you get the feedback, so in that case that job will be highly appreciable, and it will have meaning and employees will feel more satisfied while performing those jobs. So Hackman and Oldham proposed a system which they called the motivating potential score, or the MPS. So to calculate this score, one takes all the core job characteristics into account. So the 5 core job characteristics that we learned just now, they are taken into account and uses these to calculate the motivating potential of the job, or we calculate the MPS. So to do this, each of the core job dimensions should be scored on a scale of 1 to 7, where 1 is the low score and 7 is the high. So these values can be put into the formula as follows. So this is a formula of measuring the MPS, which is skill variety plus task identity plus task significance divided by 3 and multiplied by autonomy and feedback. So with the help of this formula, we can say that a low score on either autonomy or feedback will significantly impact the motivating potential of the job holder, while a lower score on either the skill variety, task identity, or task significance will have a less significant impact. So according to this formula, the autonomy and feedback, these two characteristics of a job, are more important than the other three. Now coming to the next part of lecture on job design, let's learn about the objectives of job design. So there are many alternative designs for any given job, and for this reason an understanding of what the job design is supposed to achieve is of paramount importance. The performance objectives, they guide to what is relevant in job design decisions. So the first aspect or the first objective is quality. So the ability of employees to produce high quality products and services can be affected by job design. So this includes avoiding errors in short term, designing jobs which encourage staff to improve the job itself in such a way so that the errors are less likely to occur. The second is speed, or the pace with which a job is performed. So sometimes the speed of response is the dominant objective to be achieved in job design. For example, the way in which the jobs of emergency service personnel are organized, that means the range of their task, the sequence of activities, the autonomy in decision making, this will go a long way to determine their ability to respond promptly to emergencies and perhaps save lives. So for example, in an hospital, so if the paramedic staff, they are not aware of the sequence of activities that are to be performed when an emergency case arises, or a patient who is running short of time arises, what all activities they have to do and what all decisions they can make on their own. If they have to go and run here and there, filling out forms, not being aware of what I can do, and not being able to take decisions, so the patient might lose the job. So at times, the job design has to be to ensure that speed of response is there in the job. And then next aspect is the dependability. So a dependable supply of goods and services is usually influenced by job design. For example, in postal services, working arrangements, multitasking, and the accurate use of sorting equipment through good staff machine interface design can aid dependable delivery of letters. So next aspect of the objectives we are learning is the flexibility. So job design can affect the ability of operation to change the nature of its activities. New product or service flexibility, mix flexibility, volume flexibility, and delivery flexibility, they are all dependent to some extent on the job design. For example, a staff who have been trained in several tasks, that is, they are performing multitasking, may find it easier to cope with new products or service introductions. So if the job design itself has flexibility, the staff or the employees, they will be multitasking and they will be trained enough to cope with the challenges of anything new that arises, any new process, any new procedures, any new methods of doing a particular job. So the greater the flexibility in the job design, the greater will be the flexibility or the adaptability of an employee to new changes. Then comes the cost. So important objective of job designing is definitely to reduce the costs. So all elements of job design described above will have an effect on the productivity and therefore the cost of the job. Productivity here means the ratio of the output to labor input. It can be number of customers served per hour or the number of products made per worker. Now, what are the results of a job design? So, when done in a proper manner, a job design leads to higher productivity and quality of work, higher job satisfaction, a lower absence or absenteeism, lower employee turnover intentions, greater employee engagement and motivation, and improved organizational culture. So, now we have learned about job analysis in the previous lectures, and up till now we have learned the basic aspects of a job design. So another important question arises is, what is the difference between job analysis and a job design? Now that you are well familiarized with these two concepts, let's take a look at the key differences between job analysis and job design. So, as far as the criteria are concerned, the first criteria of difference is the aim of both job analysis and job design. So, let's learn. The aim of job analysis is that it investigates and identifies the duties, tasks, responsibilities, skills, and knowledge, and also the essential qualifications for a certain job profile. But the aim of job design is it focuses on integrating the requirements and needs of an employee with the objectives of the organization. So, whereas in job analysis, we are simply investigating and identifying the duties, responsibilities, skills, essential qualifications to perform a particular job. Whereas when we talk of job design, its aim is to integrate, to bring together the requirements of the employee with the objectives of the or the requirements of the organization. The second difference lies in the core focus. So, job analysis focuses on gathering the information to curate job description and job specification for the recruitment process, whereas the core focus of job design is to decide the content of a job and aligning it with the organizational goals and ensuring job satisfaction and better working environment for employees. So, whereas in job analysis we were simply limiting ourselves to designing the description and specification of a job, whereas when we talk of job design, here we are aligning the goals of the organization and the goals of the individual or the employee, so that we can ensure job satisfaction, better engagement, and better working environment for our employees. So, what factors are involved? Job analysis covers the comprehensive information pertaining to the job description, recruitment and selection process, the compensation and remunerating employees, etc. Whereas in job design, it covers a more comprehensive business objectives as well as to how to boost the morale of employees, provide them with a better quality of life and working environment. So, job analysis does not talk of boosting the morale of employees or making them more engaged or more involved or more bringing in more passion to their jobs, whereas job design does all these things. So, this is the one of the main differences in analysis and design. So, another difference between job analysis and job design is the occurrence in terms of the recruitment process. So, as we learned in the job analysis, that it takes place before the recruitment process, because when we have to begin the recruitment process, we must be aware of what kind of skills we need in a person whom we want to hire for a particular job. So, and also what qualifications, what skills, mental abilities, knowledge, competence. So, all these are included in the job analysis. That is why job analysis is done before the recruitment process, and it ensures that the job description and job specification are well structured to attract best candidates. So recruitment in itself means attracting the best candidates, and by having a good job description and good job specification, we can easily attract the best candidates. So as far as the occurrence of job analysis is concerned, it takes place before the recruitment process. But if we talk of job design, well, it takes place after the recruitment process, because now we are focusing on our existing employees and how we can, an organization, improve the satisfaction and improve the performance or improve their engagement levels. So, because if the employee is performing well, is satisfied, is engaged, that will have everlasting outcomes for the organization in terms of productivity and profitability. And that is what every organization wants. So that is how we can say that job analysis is different from job design. So friends, today in this part of the lecture, we learned about job designing. We learned of the meaning of job design. We also learned of the various, one of the important frameworks of job design, that how by having some core characteristics in a job, we can design a good job which can have everlasting impact on the performance and we can say satisfaction, morale of the employees. Also, we learned the objectives of having a job design in the organization, and we also learned about the difference between job analysis and job design. So we'll learn about some other aspects of job design in the next part of the lecture. Thank you.